Artists always say to watch your values, how dark or light your artwork is, because that determines the overall impact and clarity of your painting. Value is what creates form, depth, and readability in an image. Even if your colors are beautiful, if the values are off, the painting can feel flat or confusing. Good value structure helps guide the viewer's eye, separate light from shadow, and make the subject stand out. That's why many artists say, value does all the work, color gets the credit. There are two common tips artists give for checking values. One is to squint your eyes. This way, you're supposed to lose the color information and only see a kind of grayscale version of your subject. For some artists, this works, for others, it doesn't really help. The second advice is to convert your image to black and white. Sounds easy, right? But here's the problem, nobody tells you which black and white conversion to use. And depending on the method, your image can look totally different. These days, I use Rebelle, Inkscape, Krita, and GIMP, so in this video, I'll test how each of these handles black and white conversion, and which one works best for artists. In Monet's impression, Sunrise, the sun and the sky actually have the same value, even though we usually think the sun is brighter. If a black and white conversion is accurate, the sun should blend into the sky. If it pops out, that's a red flag.
Here I am in Rebelle 7 Pro, and here I've got several options to convert this image to black and white. In the filter menu, there is a desaturate menu item, which has two options. One is the luminosity. As you can see, in this way, the sun is blending quite nicely into the background, so that is working fine. And there is this average mode. In this way, the sun slightly differs from the background, so I wouldn't recommend this method for artists. The other option is there is this reference window here, and one can choose this grayscale option. And it seemed to me that it's using the luminosity version for the grayscale conversion, so this works fine if you want to check the values of your image. Here we are in Inkscape, and the most important problem with Inkscape that the color management doesn't really seem working. At least I am sorry, but I couldn't make it work. I am using 1.4.2, and I also technically I linked this color profile. Technically I am in color managed mode, but this painting is looking different than in other software that has a proper color management. So that is going to affect the results slightly. In Inkscape, there are two ways one can convert the image into black and white. One is, which is pretty useful, there is this grayscale toggle, which shows your creation in grayscale, which in theory could be very useful. However, as you can see, the sun pops out from the background, so it might not be as useful as it seems for artists. So the other way, first you have to select your object, choose filter, color, grayscale, and if you are using the constants 0.3, 0.59, 0.11 and 0 for lightness, turn on the live preview. This is the luminance base weighting, these constants, and in this way, as you can see, the sun seems blending into the background, so this grayscale conversion is what can work for artists. Next, let's check the black and white conversion in Krita. I prefer to add a filter layer and the Adjust menu contains a desaturate filter. And there are several options for this. The first one is the lightness. This is not that great because the sun pops out a bit. This luminosity filter is yet again makes the sun pops out. However, this luminosity, which based on the 601, it's working pretty well actually. The average, it seems, work just fine. The minimum value doesn't an option because it makes the sun darker, and the maximum option doesn't work either because it makes the sun brighter. In GIMP, there are several options to convert an image to black and white. It's in the Colors, Desaturate, Colors to Grade menu item. This one makes the image way too bright, which is not ideal. The other one is the Desaturate menu item, and there is a luminance method which is working pretty well since the sun is totally blending into the sky. There is this Luma which makes the sun slightly darker than the sky. The lightness, yet again the sun is popping out of it. The average is kind of okay, but not as great as the luminance. And the value is the HSV value, which is totally bad. Here's the final comparison chart of all the software I tested. The methods marked in green give the best results, the yellow indicates acceptable results, and red marks the methods that don't work well. As you can see, some approaches handle black and white conversions better than the others. The only exception is Inkscape. Due to its limited color management, the image may appear darker overall than it actually should, which can affect how values are perceived. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.